Hey, what's up, beautiful Bellcast listeners? Welcome to another episode. I'm Gio.
And I'm Bart.
Hi.
Hi. You know, so these days we've been doing a lot of research of moving out of California.
Sick. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. And because I just realized, like, you know, when you
Some
are
adult
from
content.
when you are from a state like California, and I'm sure there's other states that have like state pride, and there's other states where people are like, my state sucks, because I've met people like that too. In California, it's literally the state that I think everyone wants to go to, right? Like that's what I hear even in boot camp when I'm in a group of people from like Texas, from Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, everyone, they're like,
oh, because boot camp was like a hub for like everyone that's in different parts of the country.
yeah, everyone that is west of the Mississippi, if they need to go to boot camp, they go to MCRD, which is in San Diego. And if you go to, if you're from the East Coast, then you go to Paris Island. So there's two places that hold boot camp. And a lot of people that join the military, they want to see California, or people that, you know, like Hollywood, you're never going to see anyone shoot a movie, right? But people come to Hollywood to see what...
We see it all the time out here. What are you talking about?
Well, for us, because we're locals. But I'm talking about the people that are like, let's say I'm from Pennsylvania and I want to go to LA and I want to see a movie star shoot a movie. When you drive through Hollywood, they don't really shoot movies in Hollywood. They shoot it in Burbank. They shoot it in Studio City. So that's what I mean. Like Hollywood, that's the old Hollywood. So people that are trying to get like the like that type of like old Hollywood vibes, they're visiting a place that doesn't really exist anymore. The actual studios, like in Burbank and Studio City.
I hope they find out that there's a Studio City and then they go there.
Yeah, but that's like the corporate buildings that you're not gonna find actual movie shooting there. But from the locals, we know that other people they just think it as like this big thing. So for
the locals, we fucking hate it because that's when they post fucking signs. You can't park here for the next month because we're gonna be shooting some shit, and you're like, fuck, man, this fuck.
Yeah. So so I think I find it crazy these days when we think about moving out of what a lot of people feel as the best state with the best weather.
They're not wrong.
Yeah, and you know, when I think about it, I'm like, as a kid, I always repped LA. LA's the best. California's the best. I would never go anywhere else. And here we are thinking about moving out. And I'm like, man, this is adult. You know, like when you start thinking about things that are more than just pride. Because you know, like when you're a kid, you're like, this and this high school.
Well, pride's the most valuable thing you own.
Yeah, and you're like, this and this high school. And you're like, what's so dope about that high school? I don't know, just is.
Because I go there, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, how's your administration, huh?
Yeah.
How's your like curriculum? Is that good?
Yeah, what's
You're
the
like,
retirement plan for the teachers there, huh?
It's like, I don't fucking know.
Fuck you. You talk stupid.
I fucking broke my set in the bathroom, bitch.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Yeah, so like...
So dumb.
Yeah, so as you get older, like you kind of don't really care about that pride anymore, you know? And you just kind of just want to have a good life with your family. And I think that's when we started like looking at the taxes and how taxes break down, and how in some other states, like, you know, just the cost of commercial real estate is cheaper, housing's cheaper.
Well, I think it's just different for us too, because we fall under different tax brackets because we're business owners. So that has heavily influenced just where our future is going to take us. Because I think if I was just working, you know, for someone, for a company, I think I would still stay here.
Maybe now that the more I look into it, I don't know if that's the case. Like we have friends that work for the government, right? And they're just straight up like 40-50% off the top is gone. You know what I mean? And if you worked in another state that didn't have personal income tax, your exact job, you would immediately earn 15% more if you got paid the same. But also you have to, you know, account for that where some states don't pay it. Like if you're a doctor in Wisconsin, you're not going to get paid as much as a doctor in LA or New York. So you have to account for that. But there's like the income tax part of it. And then some jobs and occupations are just valued higher in other states too.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think also that might come with just knowledge, right? Some people might just be comfortable where they're at and they don't care to seek out if there's anything, like if they're comfortable, then they're fine.
Yeah.
Like why ruffle feathers? Why cause any waves? It's like, I don't need to look up other shit because my lifestyle is good here.
Yeah, and that was crazy where that was one of the things that when I was speaking to our financial advisor that he brought up. He's like, the main considerations for people moving amongst the states is one, for tax deductions for tax purposes and tax benefits. Another one is for investments and retirement, because like if you open up your retirement in certain states, you get taxed more or whatever. And the third very, very important one, he said, is lifestyle. And I was like, oh, shoot, I never thought of that. And he was like, yeah, like some people, they're willing to pay extreme taxes for to be on the beach.
Hell yeah.
Or to be closer to family. Or, things that's irreplaceable. Like you're just not going to get this if you live in the Grand Canyon, or vice versa. And I'm like, oh, man, these are some really adult conversations to think about. And then and it made me think about my parents and your parents too. Like there was a point in time where they're like, I think I need to leave this place. Mm-hmm. Of course, our circumstances are way better. Ours, it's like, we have a good life. How can we make it even better?
Yeah.
My parents were like, my life sucks. I need to go to a better place. But it's just crazy to think of these like super adult conversations.
Hell yeah. And like if you're, I don't know, I think you and we operate a little bit differently, and I've always just kind of been this way. I'm not a very cautious or easily rattled person with certain big life decisions. Because I've said this many times, I've never really felt like I could fail, and I never feel like anything's permanent. Like even like when we talk about our marriage and stuff, right? Like it's
definitely not permanent.
The idea of it being like, oh, this is forever. Like it's a beautiful thought, right? Yeah. It's very comforting.
Yeah, but if we don't get along, then we just gotta get divorced.
I mean, but look at how long look at how much we've evolved the 12 years we've been together, right? Like if we look at ourselves when we first started our relationship, we wouldn't really recognize ourselves anymore, because it's like, dang, I can't believe we would talk to each other like that. That's true. I can't believe I would think this way. That's or I true. Can't believe, I lived that lifestyle. So like, I understand that things change. So for me, I never set anything in stone, and I'm never like, this is fucking forever and permanent.
Yeah.
And coupled with, I don't feel like I can fail, I'm always down to jump into the deep end and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And not like literally, because I'm fucking terrified of what's in the ocean. So I'll probably never do that. But like for the most part, when it comes to life decisions, I'm just like, fuck it. Let's just see what happens. Let's fucking do it. That's always that goes on in my mind when I'm emotional about something and like kind of logical at the same time. They start kind of clashing with each other. And I hate when that happens and I'm in that headspace. So then I always just calm both side downs by going, fuck it, let's do it.
Just jump into the water. Fuck it.
Yeah, you kind of have to. So making these decisions for me is like, obviously they're always calculated, right? Because it's not just about me anymore. I have to consider my mom. I have to consider, my family ties and my friend ties. I have to consider what it might cost to our relationship. I have to consider, the environment I want to raise Taika in. There's so many things that I've considered. But again, because nothing is permanent for me, I'm like, well, Taika doesn't have like real roots established with any sort of friends, because I try to put myself when I was younger, and I'm like, man, if my parents would have like moved me to another school and I have to start all over, like I would be completely devastated and I would feel completely lost and have no stability. So I'm like, well, he doesn't have that yet, And then the move, we've consulted with our friends, and our friends are just like us, where they're just like, fuck it, just do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. Just
yeah.
do it.
And we're so fortunate to have friends that think very similar to us, where they're very supportive, and they're like, they also see us sometimes as the guinea pigs because we're so fucking crazy. They're just like, yeah, you guys go first. We'll see how it turns out for you guys. And if it's safe, then we'll come out,
Yeah.
And I love that. And then we talk to our family, and your parents are like, yeah, duh, no brainer. Of course we're going to go with you.
That was the part that, I'm like, Dad, you know what?
Share that story. They don't know what you're talking about.
Dad, sometimes I love you. Because sometimes I know you. I'm just kidding. I love my dad to death, and I know he loves me. We just don't speak the same language.
But this is when you realize like this shit is real love. It's not that phony fucking, I'm gonna buy you a football for your birthday and then just disappear.
Yeah. So like my dad is the hardest person in the world to talk to.
Are you sure about that? Because my sister's pretty hard.
No, he's even harder because he doesn't talk to you with the way that you present things or how you want to talk. the minute you put something out, he has his own agenda immediately. So for example, like, you know, when we bought this house, I was super proud of it. This was going to be our forever home. And it's $1 million house, you know? So I was like, really, I thought it would be really cool to share with him, someone who was a refugee from another country who came here. And, you know,
and his son was trash.
And his son was trash, but thanks to him and his upbringing, he was able to produce a son that was, I think, like pretty successful. So I was trying to share like this moment with him. It's like a celebratory moment of success, of all the things that, you know, that his efforts didn't go to waste for the past 30 something years. And I go, Dad, what do you think about this house? It's beautiful, right? And he goes, what are you gonna do with the landscaping? And I'm like, oh God. And then I'm like, this is, I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, you know, I could totally see you guys having a family here, us coming over. I thought he was gonna talk.
Why you want that full house, Dad?
Yeah.
Huh? Why you want that family matters,
I thought
Dad?
he was gonna talk in the way that I'm pitching it. And then he goes, what are you gonna do with the landscaping? You should just get concrete all over the place because you know how expensive it is to water the lawn. And I'm like, oh my God. So when we're bringing this up, that's the dad I'm expecting, right? The one that's gonna go completely against the grain. So even when we first started, I called my dad. I was like, hey, I want to ask you something. I want to pick your brain, but just let you know I'm not that serious yet, but I am considering it. I'm going to have a playful, casual thing about it. Can I ask you? He goes, ask me what? I'm like, I just told you. I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm just going to let you know that I am going to ask you to have a conversation. A conversation about what? I'm like, I know. I haven't told you what the conversation is about just yet. I'm just letting you know how I want to have the conversation. And he goes, huh? Because he also can't hear. So I'm like, whatever, Dad. If I want to move to Vegas, would you come with me? And he goes, do you want me to come with you? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, then I'm going. And I'm like, I was about to cry immediately because I thought he was going to freaking like roast me or start bringing up things that
like how you're stupid and you don't know anything?
Yeah, I already know. You know, it's almost like when you tell your parents like, hey, can I go to Disneyland? And they go, are you a fucking slut? Like those type of conversations. You know what I mean?
No, you lost me there.
You know, a lot of people, like parents, they jump to 100.
Oh, right. Like when I would tell my mom, hey, I want to go. Can I go to so-and-so's house and sleep over? Why? Because you're trying to fuck people?
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, no, because we just want to freaking put masks on and play with makeup.
Yeah, I remember like in like 5th or 6th grade, I was probably like, hey, Mom, can I dye my hair? And like, why are you trying to go to jail? I'm like, wait, what? I don't understand. But that's like the type of...
You were close, though. She wasn't wrong.
Yeah, but those are the type of questions that I'm expecting, you know, because same thing with, hey, Dad, do you like this beautiful house that I bought that we're going to have a lot of family reunions? And the first thing he goes to is, are you going to put concrete everywhere? You know? And I'm like, what the fuck? So the fact that he told me that, I'm like, it moved me so much. And then I was like, hey, now that he got my back, I want to get his back, you know? So I'm like, hey, Dad, but what about your friends and stuff? Like, don't you want to see your friends? Like, isn't that going to be hard to just like separate ties like
He's
that?
like, fuck all that.
Yeah, he was like, fuck my friends. He goes, you're my family.
Oh, shit. I was kidding.
And he's like, all I care about is you and Taika, and you guys are my family.
What about Gio? Wait,
And
did he mention Gio at all? Wait.
I was like, what about Gio? He goes, I don't give a fuck about Gio. Yeah. So I was just like, wow, this is some true, deep love.
That's that real.
And he gave me like one of the hardest answers in seconds.
It was thoughtless.
It was thoughtless. It wasn't like, let me think about it or anything like that. And then after, this was the first time my dad ever had a normal conversation where, you know, usually you go, I like this. What do you think? And then someone tries it and they go, I like it, or they don't like it. They give you your position. And then now you guys start talking about it, right? That's a normal conversation. Usually my dad gives you all the other things and you're still trying to figure out if he likes or dislikes it. But he's kind of saying things like he likes it, but he's also hating on it at the same time. This is the first time where my dad was like, he told me his position. He agrees with me. And then he started asking the usual questions of like, what about taxes? What about business? Is JK still going to be based out of LA? How are you going to, how is that? How are you going to manage that? And I was like, yeah, we only shoot twice a month now. So it's easy for me to fly back. 45-minute flight if it's in Vegas. If it's Texas, a little bit longer, but I don't think it's a big deal. And now we started having a real conversation, but the conversation now isn't so confrontational because we know we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And also not so argumentative.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, that just made me feel so good. I'm like, oh man, my dad really, really like supports me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I have a lot to say about that, but first I'm going to introduce our first sponsor.
Shout outs to our sponsor, Noom. you guys know that I freaking love Noom because there's a lot of people out there that really want to get at their fitness goals, but they don't know where to start and they need a lot more help because they've just never been given the tools to have a successful career in fitness. And not by career, I don't mean a job, but I like getting towards your goals, because in fitness, it's more important than just getting the correct workouts. It's more important than just getting your diet. You also have to have your psychology in the right place, and also your lifestyle.
Right, because it's hard, and if you don't have your head straight, then it's easy to quit.
Yeah, and that's what I like about Noom, because a lot of the times the psychology part of it is understanding when to say no to certain foods and not making it such a black and white thing where you feel like you're restricting your entire life. You have to be able to view fitness in a way where it's actually going to complement your life. So that's what I like about Noom, because it actually takes all those parts into consideration. So they give you help with your diet, with meal plans, they give you workout plans, but they also give you psychological support and even social support. Like if you were to go out to go eat, they'll go, hey, try to eat this before you go out. So if you do munch on something, you're not eating junk food with an entirely empty stomach. So that's what I really, really love about Noom. If you've tried a bunch of other plans and programs that are more by itself, like, oh, I tried this diet plan or I've tried that workout, well, give Noom a try, because it will have a way more comprehensive approach. And right now you can go to noom.com/Beal, BEAW, to start your trial today. If you've tried all kinds of other stuff, I highly recommend Noom. Give it a try, because no food is quote unquote good or bad or off limits. Noom teaches you about moderation, and you can be used in conjunction with many pre-existing popular diets. So once again, go to noom.com/Beal, BEAW, to check it out and get started on your fitness career today.
And we're back. Yeah, I think it's really beautiful that your dad is just so down to do shit like that. And it's very selfless love. And I really, really like that a lot. And I noticed that happens a lot in the Chinese community. I grew up with a lot of Chinese people, like a lot of Chinese people. I think I know more about Asian culture than I do my own culture. Nah, not really, but that's how much I know about it. And I've always loved that about the Asian community, you know, where it's very collective, and it's like, you don't ever make decisions. It's not a singular thing, you know, it's not about like me, what's best for me, what am I going to do? It's always the family and the units. The whole unit is a consideration. Like I'm going to take care of my mom eventually, you know, or my dad or my parents, and they should be close by. And, you know, I make time to spend time with them, and it's a heavy consideration. And I really, really love that. So I'm not surprised that he did that, because ever since I've known you and we've been together, like I see both of them as that way. Like they literally live their life for you. And I don't know if you've ever saw it that way.
I did.
But it's super apparent for me. And I think it's really beautiful. But it also kind of makes me sad a little bit, you know? And this is where I'm going to refer to my mom now, or my parents at least. Well, I didn't really know my dad that well. He was in my life. Like I grew up with the father, they were married, but he's just your typical dad that's just doing dad shit. And
he's just in the corner doing his own thing.
Yeah. And we'd never really got really deep like that. But what I like, at least because I'm used to it, and this is what I know and understand, is with my mom, at least, she did everything for us. Like I never felt like growing up, I never felt that I didn't have her support in any means. And I mean real support. I don't mean like this bitch didn't let me try out for this thing, or this bitch didn't let me go do that. Like that's not real support. Real support is just making these sacrifices to put your kids first. And I always felt that. I always felt like my mom never had a life of her own. She always lived for us.
Yeah, real support isn't just them agreeing with what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real support is just ensuring that we have a good, healthy, positive life and we're successful.
Yeah.
And she did all that. But now that I'm out of the out of the house, when my dad was alive, like she lived for herself and her husband. And I thought that was really, really beautiful. So now when I brought up the conversation with her, she has her life. She has her stuff established. So for her, she's like, I need to think about this, you know? And that didn't hurt my feelings, because I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I love that. I love that you have your own shit. Because I think I would be sad if like everything she did was just for me. And I'm like, man, that's not, because I didn't grow up that way. So for me, I'm like, that's not a life that I would like to live, and I don't want you to live that life. So I think it's really beautiful that your pop is that way, where it's like, you're my everything and I want to be around you. And if that means you want me to go there, then I'm going to do that. And it's, even mind-blowing for me too, because growing up, there's like a hierarchy, right? Like my dad always made it very clear that we're not equals. My dad was always like, I'm the king, you're a fucking peasant, and this is the language that we talk to each other. You don't refer to me as like, you know, like my first name. You don't refer to, like, I'm your dad and you're always referring to me as that. Like, you have to use formal language with me. Like, you only speak Spanish with me. Like, it was like that. So when I hear your dad say that, it's like now you're in the control, the position of power, and now you're dictating what your dad does. And I'm like, whoa, that's wild to me.
Yeah, the family is such a big thing because my dad was actually the one that brought his family over. So
his family meaning his mom and dad, or like the siblings?
His dad,
Oh,
his
shit.
mom already passed, but his siblings. So like there's 7 of them, right? So first my dad came, then my dad brought the uncle that is closest to him, the guy we call Suspenders uncle, brought him.
You call him that. I don't call him that.
Fine, we bring him, then brought over the aunt that lives in San Francisco. So it was like, you know, kind of just like us, what we're doing now, which is crazy. We're like, we want to move, we want to make a lifestyle change, but we also want the family to come with us because family is so important in our culture. My dad did the exact same thing. You know, it's like, here's a better life. Everyone come, and he brought over like 4 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And my mom was down too, which is, I mean, she's more annoying than my dad is, but it was crazy that she's also down too, where like.
Why is that crazy? I expected it from her immediately.
Really?
She's trying to live in the house.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't even know why you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's also funny is my dad, he's really introverted. So my dad's like, he's like, why wouldn't I come? Like, I want to, he's like, all I ever want to do is come over and see you and Taika for an hour a day. So
Where the fuck is Gio in this equation?
Well, you're included. You're given.
Oh, okay.
But it's just funny that.
I'm kidding. I don't care.
It's just funny that he puts a cap on it because he's like, I want to be with you guys, but it better not be more than an hour.
And now you make so much more sense. The more you explain your dad, the more I understand you. And that's
Really?
why.
How?
Well, that's why Steve makes fun of you, because it's like your life operates in blocks of time. So it's like, all right, I'm going to hang out with my wife. Okay, so we're going to hang out from 9 to 10:30. Okay, after 10:30, then I have to go drive, which is a 15-minute drive. So from 10:30 to 10:45, I'm going to be driving. But then once it's 11 to 1, then we can hang out as friends. So that's just, it's funny because that's where you got it from.
Yeah.
And I found it very interesting.
I think my dad has Asperger's, which makes me have it.
Really? What makes you think that?
Just like the so like logical and time based and not knowing how to read like human. A lot of like being not that good with like human social cues and norms and stuff.
Do you think so this is where like things get jumbled up for me when like they put labels on shit, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like at least in the US, we put labels on things like depression or Asperger's or whatever because we're trying to comprehend it and we're all trying to like achieve some sort of understanding so we can like coexist, right?
Yeah.
But is it really Asperger's, or is it we just grew up in a different country with different social cues, social norms, all of that we're just bringing it here, and because it's not fitting with the American mold, then it's labeled something that's not so favorable?
I think it's Asperger's because
Okay.
because all 6 of his brothers and sisters hate his guts because this is how he operates.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, then never mind.
So all of those other people, they share the same culture, but they have the same complaints about him.
Okay, then it's Asperger's.
Yeah.
So, as you were explaining how you were trying to tell your dad in the beginning, at least, starting that conversation about how we were potentially going to move,
Yeah.
it's very interesting to me. And this is something that I've just discovered because I've been saying so many times on this podcast that since like 2016, it's been a journey for me of just a lot of self-improvement and just self-growth and self-discovery. And one of the things that I've discovered is that you need to talk to people in a way in which they understand you, right? So like, at least that's what's worked for me and been successful for me is I notice who my audience is and then I speak accordingly.
Yeah.
But then
That's the correct, if not the correct, but that's the most emotionally intelligent way to communicate.
oh, okay. Oh, cool. So then
I mean, it's even like that with coaching, right? Like if I have a person that's kind of timid and new to lifting for the first time, I can't be like, lift it, you fucking bitch. pick that shit up. They're like, I'm like, quit. You know?
Right.
But if you have someone that's kind of more hardcore, they need to be talked to like that. And on the vice versa, if they're hardcore and you're like, you got it, you could do another one.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, damn, this coach sucks.
Yeah. Okay. But then when you were explaining or you were about to explain, but you're setting it up for your dad to understand and not to like, you know, I don't know, piss on your parade. You were like already warning him like, hey, this is not serious. It's whatever. And you can see him already going like, oh, what is it? Whatever. But like you chose not to talk to him in a way that resonates with him. You chose to like, you go, all right, well, he's going to annoy me. I know he's going to jump to conclusions. Let me just stop all that because it's going to bother me. And I'm going to talk to him in a way that's going to be helpful for me.
So I did it wrong.
Not that you did it wrong, but it was just like if you know your pop is already going to like jump to conclusions or he just needs to like, just give it to me raw. Come on. I have Asperger's. Give it to me straight. Don't set it up.
He doesn't want it raw though. That's the thing. I can't give it to him raw.
Oh, so if you were to come out and be like, hey, Pop, so we're thinking of moving to Vegas. This isn't set in stone. This is not, we haven't done any of that stuff yet. It's just raw thoughts. Like if you presented it that way, isn't that giving it to him raw? And then already like at the end of it saying like, it's not serious. We're just trying to figure it out.
That's literally that's literally how I told him. I'm about to have a conversation.
No,
with
that's
you.
not
It's
literally
raw, it's casual.
Well, what you said was the first part, which he's already like, what?
Yeah.
You know, whereas
Well,
if you just give it to him and then
no, because this is that's why this time he was unlike himself. You know, which sounds like, oh shit. Because my dad, he likes to talk in what I like to call checkmate fashion.
Okay.
So, you know, when you're talking to someone, not that you're trying to beat them, but it's kind of like chess, right? Like you move a pawn, they move a pawn. So you start with something small. How are you? Doing good, right? And it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Then it's like, so what are you gonna do about that car accident? You don't have a car. You know, do you have $10,000 laying around? You know, it's kind of, then it gets deeper and you get bigger and bigger chess moves, right? My dad, because he has his own agenda, the way he has a conversation is he has all of his chess pieces. Like if I were to his normal self, I would have been like, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Vegas. What do you think? Then he'll start going by like, you know, the weather there is not as good. So it's already way off the line of conversation I'm trying to have.
Right, because it's not like figuring out, well, what brought you to this conclusion?
So it's all
What's
his, all what
process?
he wants. You know, the weather's not that good. You know, it's not going to be really hard.
So all
to do
his
this.
fears come out
So
first.
yeah, all of this. And then finally, when everything is out on the table, then it's a checkmate conversation. You know, that's how he has it.
Because it just sounds like everything you bring up is that he's a very fearful person.
Could be fearful. Fearful is one word.
Because even the house that you said when you first showed him this house, and because we had to take care of the landscaping, that's the first thing he brought up. Well, you know it's going to be really expensive, so this and that. So like he looks at the negative and he puts that out first.
Yeah, you know what? I think he is. I think it probably all comes from a place of fear. Yeah, fear or insecurity or something.
Yeah, or I think he just doesn't want you to. He's protecting you. Was what it sounds like.
Yeah,
because he's like, man, my son, man, like he hasn't lived on this planet as long as I have. Let me just tell him what to look out for first.
Yeah.
And for him, he might just be thinking he's doing you like a really big favor.
Yeah. Even later on when we had our conversation, so that usually it's a checkmate conversation. But this time it wasn't. It was normal. And then later on, he did bring up weather, and he's like,
"That's cool."
Yeah, it was like really normal. He was like, "Oh, he's like, well, what about the weather? You know, it gets like hot and cold." I'm like, "Dad, I'm a soldier." And then he was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." I'm like, weather is the least of my worries, you know? And
yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Do you think that now knowing that he's a fearful person, and the fears coming from him wanting to protect you and take care of you, do you see that?
I see it. I don't feel it. You know what I mean?
No.
So like it doesn't feel like it's coming from a place that he wants to protect me, because it sounds like his own personal agenda.
I don't understand.
When he's bringing it up.
Well, I mean, he's only bringing it up because that's how he feels. So he's trying to avoid that from
But he's
happening.
also not using context clues. So for example, you know, with the house, right?
Yeah.
I told him this is $1 million house. And then so obviously to me, finances isn't a big problem that I deal with, right? So for him to go, is everything going to be concrete? Because it's going to cost a lot to water the lawn and put lawn in. To me, he already wasn't listening. Because if you're going to bring up cost, you're not listening to what I'm putting out there. I already told you this is $1 million house. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like, so like the care that he's putting out, if he had been listening to what I was saying, he would know that that's not where the conversation is going.
Yeah.
And so even his fears are coming from a place of, I didn't even hear what you just said. It's just from what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, well, I get where he's coming from, because for him, maybe obviously he's looking at things from his own perspective and his own lens, obviously, right? So for him, if you've already spent $1 million, then he's not American. So a lawn for him, pretty grass, decorative shit, that's just a waste of money. So for him, he's like, you already spent a lot of money on this house that he might even already see as excessive. So he's just saying, hey, your best bet at this point, so that you don't keep dipping into your wallet even more, is just being frugal with the thing.
That's another valid point of view. I could see that. But I think the way that I explained it to him, it's not like I'm already knee deep in a mess. What do you think? I think you just calling it $1 million home, and maybe the fact that you because for you throwing out that it's the cost of the home could be like, let me flex a little bit to show you I'm doing fucking well. But for him, he probably saw it as like, dang, I spent a lot of money. So who has more than that? Just kind of chilling, to spend. No, I think and previous to that conversation, I think I brought him up to a point where like, we have quite a bit of savings. When we put the down payment out on the house, we still have enough to cover our living expenses for a year, even if we got cut off from all revenue. Like I was explaining to him, like, we're in a really good place.
I see.
Yeah. So to me, it was just, what you're saying now means you just haven't been listening.
I see.
So if you haven't been listening, then you're just saying things that matter to you and not things that matter to me. So it's fear coming from you, not fear of me.
Right.
At least that's how I would take it.
On that note, let me pause you real quick. I'm going to introduce our next sponsor. All right, for our next sponsor, I'm so happy to introduce Albert. If you guys have never heard of it, don't trip. Albert is like having a friendly personal finance expert in the palm of your hand, ready to help you and make budgeting, saving, and investing simple and easy to digest. I know for me, for example, I didn't really grow up with a lot of financial tools, and these weren't things that were taught to me in school. So just basic finance and stuff, I just didn't. It was just overwhelming. Honestly, it was just overwhelming. I didn't really understand it. And I wish when I was growing up, we had Albert, but we have it now. And I'm absolutely thrilled to share it with you guys, because Albert also combines real human guidance with proven technology so that you can stay in control of your finances and find that happy balance. And balance is key to life, you guys, because it's good to save. Obviously, it's good to save, but we're also humans. We like to, spend on entertainment from time to time. We like to eat out. We like to go to the movies, all of that stuff. But you can do so while still saving. And Albert is going to help you do that. I've used different apps and different services, and it always feels very robotic. Like, hey, watch out for these things, or hey, you went overboard here. But with a subscription to Albert Genius, you're always going to have a team of real humans being, I guess, your lookouts, right? So Albert Genius gives you the access to real financial advisors you can message anytime through the app. All right, you guys. So definitely install Albert from the App Store or Google Play today to find yourself, like I said, that happy balance. Because again, balance is key. And get a bonus of up to $40 when you start an annual subscription to Albert Genius. So good luck, y'all. Get your finances straight, and can't wait to see how it all goes for you. And we're back. I don't know. I think so. Unfortunately, your dad only speaks Chinese, so I can't really see where he's coming from or hear how he's saying things. But my goal ultimately is to have you guys have like a really harmonious relationship, because I know that like you guys have like your own communication styles that I don't know how he feels about yours, because again, I
probably thinks it sucks ass too.
Yeah. But I just want to make it
stupid and don't think things through.
Probably. That's what most parents think, right? Yeah. It was so funny because like growing up, my mom and my dad would say this shit and I fucking hated it, but now I get where it's coming from.
Oh no.
What?
I just hate it when that happens.
Yeah, they would say shit like,
Because you know when the parents tell you like, you just wait because you'll know what I'm
Shit
talking
like
about.
that. Shit like that.
And I'm always like, I'll never know because I'm not like your dumbass.
Right.
And then later on, you're like,
fuck. Right.
son of a bitch.
You're fucking right. Yeah. So similar, like same effect, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you think you invented that, or like you think you're the first one to think that way or do that thing or whatever. I invented that shit.
You know, like, Mom, you did anal? You did anal too, Mom?
No, not like that.
God, that's disgusting.
You're stupid. I fucking hated that shit. Or like watching you have kids, you don't understand. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know, because you're obviously pissed at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, my goal is for you and your dad to have a harmonious relationship where you don't see him and you're already like, oh fuck, I gotta gear up for this motherfucker to say all his fucking shit.
Oh yeah, that's
You know?
You know me too well.
Because I think it's all obviously right. Well, no. I think it's all a matter of perspective.
It is.
Right? Because you're already...
It
is. That's how Taika says it. Because you're already going into a conversation and you're thinking to yourself, this fool is always operating on checks, like on chess and like checkmates. So it's very defensive. Like everything you think about your dad, it's always on the defense.
Yeah, I always got to take a deep breath.
Right. But what if you shifted your perspective and you were like, he fucking cares that much? He doesn't understand me. We didn't have a deep relationship. I just know that his heart is always with me.
If I'm level-headed, I can do that.
But
I
then
really
just seeing what he does, and as soon as you catch yourself going, this motherfucker's playing chess again, erase that or try to set that aside.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard. That's like me telling you, like, hey, when I piss you the fuck off, just erase what I just said.
And I've been doing that.
You still get pissed off.
I do, but not to the degree that I used to. And there's even times where I'm like, I 100% know you fucked up, but I still want us to be happy. So I'm going to hug you and I'm going to be soft with you and I'm going to be chill. And that shit was that was another person.
I'm going to take advantage of that.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was able to really see like a lot of this stuff comes from my own personal insecurities or my own perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, dude.
So you're getting pissed off right now.
I'm not getting pissed.
Just erase what I just said. Just erase what I just said.
I'm not getting pissed.
You just got to erase what I just said, okay?
I'm not getting pissed. It's just funny. And I'm just playing with you.
I know, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I think, dude, I keep fucking referring this book to you. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's such a valuable book. And if you guys are listening right now, obviously you guys are listening. That's such a stupid thing to say. If you guys are listening. No, I highly recommend, like if you have anyone, honestly, anyone, if you think you have like you connect with people really, really well, read it anyway. Read it, listen to it on audiobooks. It's changed my life.
The title is misleading. It sounds like you learn how to like manipulate, but
no.
It's not. It's really, I think it's because it's written from what, like the 50s or 60s. So they're just choice of words. It's just different. But I did listen to a couple of chapters on an audiobook, and it really just teaches you how to talk to people so that you better convey your message, and then the other person is better at receiving it, because you have to know how to do that so that you don't end up in a situation where like, I had good intentions and this person took it all wrong. And you know, we all hear that a lot all the time, even with ourselves. We're like, I'm this person, I said it like this, and this is what I mean, but they took it all wrong. They're such a bitch. Well, it's probably the messenger didn't write, it wasn't packaged right, you know? So that's what I like about this book. I definitely have to read it.
Yeah.
And I think it'll help my relationship with my dad.
Absolutely.
Because that's probably what I'm experiencing, where like, I'm trying to share this house with him and he took it all wrong. You know, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I should have packaged it a little bit differently so that he can have a celebratory moment with me.
Yeah, I think you need to do a lot of healing with just your relationship that you've had with both of your parents.
Take some DMT with them.
Maybe not even with them, but I think just having them in your thoughts as you're trying to resolve a lot of like this childhood drama that you have a lot of.
As I'm getting high.
You don't have to get high. Where's this fucking drug shit coming from?
It's like, oh, my dad. I don't know.
What was that? You don't have to have drugs involved. You know what I mean? Like you can just.
Then how do you heal?
There's many different methods. You can go to therapy. You can write it down in a journal. I would probably suggest more therapy than anything else.
Okay.
Because like I do enjoy all these stories that you share because it's just so fucking outlandish. And I'm like, you can't make this shit up. This is just too wild.
Yeah.
Like you need to eventually write a book or have a TV show or something.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you would be dope. I would watch your series. Like I really would watch. What would your sitcom be called?
I don't know. I thought about that, and the problem is, you know how like, you know what slapstick comedy is?
Yes.
Where it's like you feel like some things are over the top, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, my family is over the top, so I feel like if I wrote a script and I pitched it, they would think I'm writing like some crazy Dumb and Dumber movie, and they're like, just let you know, comedy isn't like this anymore. And I'm like, no, I'm writing real life. So in order for it to actually be palatable for people, I think it might need to be one of those crazy like Adult Swim cartoons.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
they either tone it up or they tone it down, right? Because like nothing is really.
I don't want to tone it down though, because it's so. That's the beauty of it, because it's so freaking nuts.
Well, it might not be palatable, like you said. Like, what are you trying to do? Anyway, you got two artists on me. That wasn't the point.
Oh, damn.
Well, you started going on this tangent about like palatable, and I don't want to tone it down.
Hey,
And
I'm
like,
sorry that I have access to big words in my big brain. Okay,
well, I'm glad you have a big brain because your head is fucking massive. But
and it's filled up.
right,
It'd
okay.
be better than if it's a small brain and lots of space and it's like.
Sometimes, man, you make me wonder if it's a lie. Okay, fine. But yeah, I think you need to do a lot of healing, and I don't mean to like put you on the spot, but yeah, I think once you can start.
I definitely know I do, because I love my parents to death, but I also hate their guts, and I'll do anything for them, but I never want to see them. So I definitely know there's a lot of healing. You know what I mean?
And I think once
like when my mom calls or my dad calls, I already get anxiety. I'm like, but I love them, obviously.
It makes sense, man. Like your mom had to call you every single 30 minutes to an hour because she worked full time and you were pretty much a latchkey kid, a kid that had to take care of himself. So she's like trying to check in and make sure that you're still alive, because in her head, you're dying every 10 minutes.
This is how crazy and how traumatized I am. My mom's old work phone from 30 years ago, I haven't memorized still, because that's how much my mom wanted me to check in. Do you remember your mom's work number?
Well, I was always at my mom's work, so I didn't need to have a
Do you remember?
I was always attached to the hip with her.
Oh, do you remember your old phone number?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say it out loud. I'm like, no, they still use that phone number. I can't believe I was about to say it, but
that's how
yeah,
crazy
I know
it is. I still have my mom's, because I was just thinking about it. I'm like, oh, wait, I know my mom's old work number still. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know a bunch of zip codes.
That's how traumatized I was.
Yeah, maybe you're not traumatized, and maybe it's just the phone number that you just remember.
Nah, it's traumatizing.
Fine. But yeah, I think it would be, I'm really, I can't wait till that moment happens. And I hope it does happen, to where you and your parents can be in the same room and it's harmonious. Not that it's volatile.
I can't wait till you and then my parents will be in the same room and it's harmonious.
Why wouldn't it be harmonious?
Because I see how you get when they're getting around too. I'm like, I know.
Well, it's not because of them. It's because of how you display how you're feeling. So I'm feeling what you're feeling.
Oh, I see.
So I'm with you. Because
see.
I don't have any connection with them, and it's sad because I just don't speak Chinese.
Oh, okay.
And I can only connect with them as much as like we can like signal at each other.
I see.
Right?
Because the language barrier.
Yeah, but for me, they're not anything. Like for me, it's just my representation of them is what you present to me.
I see.
So it's like when it heals for you, then I'm on the same boat that you are. Cause I'm just like, even now when you're like saying shit, I'm the one going like, well, wait, it's not a chess game. It's not a checkmate. He just cares and he just doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm getting a certain way around them. It's just I'm getting that way because I feel you and I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah. That's different. Because my relationship with your mom doesn't even include you in it.
Right, because you don't need me. Yeah, you have a relationship,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I need you because there's like your dad already is very introverted and doesn't even want to talk. He doesn't even make eye contact with me,
Well, if you want to go dancing with my mom, you guys can go.
Fine. But yeah, I have more of a connection with your mom.
Because she would love to go dancing with you.
How do you know? Wait, are you making that up?
Wait, what?
What?
No, my mom would love to have a relationship with you.
Oh.
So anything that you want to put forth, you can actually have the same relationship with my mom as I do with your mom. And my mom actually speaks English. So if you just hit her up, hey, I want to go to the park and have a picnic. She'd be like, I would love to.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because maybe that might help. You have a good relationship with my mom, and then you help,
No, it wouldn't help. Not yet. Because I need to make sure you guys are all good.
Yeah.
And because I'm deciphering, because your mom speaks very limited English. So it's not even like a connection type of English.
But she also speaks interpretive dance, so you know what she's feeling.
I never know what she's feeling.
When she's spinning around in the middle of a restaurant, she's happy.
Okay. But she's always happy.
No, because if she's like this, she's not happy. She's trying to hide that she's pissed, but she's also being a good Buddhist.
Oh, no. I always see her really happy. Yeah, I don't see anything other than happy.
Oh, fine.
But yeah, I think maybe that should be your 2021 goal. Because fuck 2020, bro.
Yeah. Low key fuck 2020.
Mm-hmm. Straight up. I think it would change your life so much.
Yeah.
Maybe you should aim for that.
You know what? This is how bitter I am. I know what's important to my mom. So my mom is a devout Buddhist, right? So even just thinking about this, like, I was like, oh, maybe I should see if there's like any like temples that are close to any of the places that we're moving to. So my mom could have a place to like practice, on her religion and stuff. And I'm like, what? Am I being a good son to her? Fuck that. And I didn't.
That's fucked up.
That is fucked up?
Yeah, that's mean.
Because I was being thoughtful. And then I was like, nah, she find her own motherfucking temple. I'm tired of her Buddhist shit.
Yeah, that's mean.
Fine. I'll change.
Well, because you got to consider your mom's she's alone now, right? And she's going to completely uproot her life for you and go in a completely foreign place by herself with her son that's so fucking busy, you can't really see her. I don't mean to make you feel bad at all, actually. So putting her next to something that she loves so that she can create her community, because she's never remarried, she doesn't have a boyfriend, she doesn't have anyone to really lean on. Her best friends are going to stay out here. That's very nice and very thoughtful.
Fine.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just me. I'm just saying, I just want you to be happy. I don't want you to always be like, I fucking hate my parents. And I know you say that in a joking way.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's some weight to that, just a little bit, where you're like, fuck these motherfuckers. I think it's important that you think about yourself and you think about baby Bart and see how you can like give that dude some hug and some loving.
I like baby Bart.
Yeah? Do you really? What do you think about?
Oh, wait. Like you're talking about Taika?
No, I'm talking about baby Bart. Literally what I just said.
Oh. I don't know. You said baby Bart and Taika popped in my mind and I was just hugging him with my brain.
Yeah, no, I want you to hug baby Bart. I want you to
Fine.
tell that little boy he's just a misunderstood little kid.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay, on that note, we're going to pause real quick for our final sponsor.
Shout outs to our sponsor, Ancestry Health. I love Ancestry Health because, as you guys know, I have this thing called the recurring problem of the month for Bart, right? Like I get...
right.
I've discovered I have eczema. I discovered I have clogged ears because I swam too much. Or I discovered I had...
Mosquitoes love you.
Mosquitoes
and you're allergic.
Freaking love me, and I'm allergic to a lot of those bites. Some of those things are just my fault. Some of those things are genetic, but it's really important. This is why I love it. It's really important to know what you're genetically predisposed to, because you could find out way beforehand before something big happens, and you can find out for your offspring, like for example, Taika. So with Ancestry Health, it helps you understand what health risks could be passed down from one generation to the next. And a family health history tools also lets you track generations of your family's health all in one place. So like one thing that I discovered that I have is eczema. And so it's important for me to see how that manifest in Taika, if it does at all or not. So for me, that's why I love Ancestry Health, because it's almost like seeing like a blueprint of anything that could possibly go wrong. And especially 1 in 8 women develop breast cancer in their lifetime, and about 5 to 10% of those have an inherited genetic risk. So I think this thing really applies to everyone out there, everyone that cares about not only their health from their own individual perspective, but from a familiar perspective. I highly recommend getting this and taking your test. So find out what your DNA says about genetic risk with Ancestry Health, and head to our URL at ancestry.com/Beaw, B-E-A-W. That's B-E-A-W at ancestryhealth.com. And you can get your own Ancestry Health kit today and figure out what's going on with you.
And we're back. Yeah. What do you got to say to everything I just said?
I think it's beautiful. I think I got a lot of work to do in 2021. Hopefully I can start it right now, actually. I know, I'm not the person that likes to put things off. So it would be nice where things are nice and fixed by the time we do move out of state, if we
That'd
do
be
move out of
tight.
state.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Or even by the time. So my mom's still in Taiwan because, you know, like just the whole travel and quarantine and stuff. And it's just way safer out there. So it'd be nice if I could even start practicing it now. Because when she texts me right now, I'm already like, but I try to connect with her. I send her videos and pictures of Taika because I know she loves them. So that's the way that I can.
But you're still sending her fucking like sarcastic shit.
Oh, hell yeah, I have to.
Why?
I don't know. I just got to get it off my chest. Like yesterday, she called me and then she was like, you know, my mom likes to she likes to mess around too. So she called me.
Really?
Yeah.
She doesn't seem like a mess around type of person. But again, I don't
Really?
know. Yeah,
She
she doesn't.
spins in restaurants.
But not because she's messing around. It's because she has a migraine or some shit.
Oh, wow.
I don't ever see her mess around ever.
Fine. Well, she was like
She doesn't understand sarcasm.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand jokes. Like, at least from what I receive.
yeah, she goes, Bart Kwan. And then I was like, Lillian who? And then she was like, how dare you? Because she was like, I don't know if you have that in Mexican culture, but you cannot say someone's full name if they're above you.
I mean, if it's in a playing fashion, it's fine. But like for you to call them that, like, hey Martha, all the time, that's fucking rude.
Yeah. So
but it's not as like hardcore as your mom makes it seem.
Yeah. Imagine if your mom called you like Giovanna Kwan and you're like Martha Corain, you know?
Yeah, but then I think she would be fine.
Yeah. What did my mom say? My mom said "Tadan," which means in it's almost like, you know, I don't know what the actual phrase is, but you'll hear this in like medieval courts. But
Damn,
you know,
your mom speaks in medieval
yeah.
tones.
Yeah. But you know, like in a regular court, when someone says something that it's like
Objective.
Or objection.
Objective.
But like,
That's an objective.
yeah. So it's like that, like objection. It's like that. So she's almost saying like that and like blasphemous. And then I'm like, why is that blasphemous? Lillian who? And she's like, how dare you? You know, I think just for me, I just have to like get off my chest and like, I always have to like ruffle her feathers or get her back for some reason. Yeah.
All right.
It feels good though.
Why does it feel good?
Because I know I got under her skin.
And why does that feel good for you?
I don't know. I can't explain euphoria. It's just like, I'm just high.
Is it because now you can not hurt her, but you can make her feel negative? Like you kind of have some control over her?
Maybe because I can dictate the outcome with her.
Oh, I wonder where it comes from.
You know what I mean? Like now I'm like, aha. Because before you control me, so now I can control you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to really work on that.
Because if I go Lillian who, and she's just like he laughing, I'm like, can't use that anymore.
Oh my God, you're like my fucking dad, dude. My dad.
Why do you think you're with me?
I think so. I think we like to be with shit that we understand. You know, sometimes. Luckily for me, it's still some positive shit.
Yeah.
But no, he would do that shit to all of us, right? Like he has a nickname for every one of his kids. And then as I matured, and I think at this point I was already in college, and my dad and I didn't really always have a good relationship. It was actually pretty turbulent. But then once I was the one to like resolve it and it was good again, then he would try to make fun of me. But at that point, I'm already mature. And he would make fun of me and I'd be like, oh shit, that was a good one. Thanks. That was good. And then he's like, oh man, you're not fun. Because I wouldn't get riled up.
Yeah.
So he's like, man, you're not fun. Forget it. And then as he's saying that, my older sister walks in. So then he starts going in on her. And then she goes, what the fuck, man? You see, this is why I fucking hate coming here. All you do is, Mom, all dad does all day is just talk shit about me. And then my dad's just sitting at the table like, yeah, got that bitch.
So I do like ruffling feathers and fucking around, but I just like that in general too though.
Right.
Then like yesterday I was like with your mom and I'm like, hey Mom, do you know what a blowjob is?
Oh my God. You son of a bitch.
She almost spit her soda out.
No shit. My mom's like very like innocent.
Yeah.
Or at least she plays she's innocent.
No, because I forgot what we were talking about. So she was telling me a term that I don't really hear anymore.
Like what?
I forgot what it was, but it was like a term that I'm like, oh wait, we don't use that
Take her
term.
to second base?
No, it wasn't even about sex.
Oh, okay.
It was just about like regular words.
Loosey goosey?
It's like her saying like jive turkey or something. You know, it's just like
Okay.
it's just a word that it's like not even from this era.
Okay.
So I was just like, hey mom, hey mom, do you know what a blowjob is? And then she was like, what? I'm like, well, I don't know if they used the word blowjob in the 60s or 70s, I'm like, because we use it today. And then I knew that it was just going to.
We don't use blowjob anymore. We use head.
Well, I knew it was going to make her blush. So I got her circulation going. You're welcome.
Oh, that's it? She just blushed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then she started explaining how well, back then it was already kind of promiscuous for a girl to turn around in a movie theater.
Oh, so she's saying doing that is huge.
So she was like just to let you know, this is how ladies were supposed to behave back then. So blowjobs are
No.
Are
it's only for married folks.
Are nut. yeah.
For married folks.
Yeah. On the 10th anniversary.
Oh,
too.
right.
Yeah. For special occasions.
Wait.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You got to unlock that level.
Yeah, I can't wait till you unlock your levels with your family.
Me too. I would love to.
Then yeah, let's get it popping and cracking, and then we can start sharing your experiences.
Yeah.
Because I think before I started healing myself, I really started healing all my relationships with my family, because I knew that was gonna be of paramount importance when my first kid arrived. Because I'm like, fuck, I knew that it takes a village, to raise a kid, and I know I don't know anything about being a parent, and I didn't grow up taking care of my siblings, because when my little sister was born, I was only 5, 6, so I don't know shit. And I'm like, dang, I need a unit. I need my family. So I really wanted to take care of that, so that when Tycho arrived, he is received with so much love from all over the place.
Yeah. Just kidding.
So that's why that was important for me first. So I took care of that, and then I just started taking care of us, and then myself and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for you, man. You're going to be 36 this year? I think it's time. I think it's all right.
I could also wait 4 more years.
Why 4? Where did 4 come from?
Start at an even 40, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Nice, even little 40.
Up to you if you want to live the best life ever, or still try to find ways to roast your parents,
Always. Even if the more healed we are, the more roasted.
Imagine that you guys are so healed that you start roasting them and they start roasting you back. And now it's a roast fest, and it's fucking fun.
Impossible.
Not that they're going to stump you. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying my mom's personality, it's impossible.
You never know.
I know, because the one thing that she can't change is her medieval ways.
You never know.
You know what I mean? That's the if
when some shit clicks for people, they can change immediately. Once it clicks, it's new person day and night.
Not my medieval mom.
Oh fuck! Now I have to make this happen, because my competitive side is
let's do it.
I gotta prove this guy wrong.
Let's do it.
I gotta do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we'll try.
All I gotta do is this: I go with my mom to a Buddhist temple with her fucking medieval ways. As she's bowing down, she's gonna give me the side eye and see if I'm doing, and I'll pretend to bow, and halfway I'll bust out the Catholic one, and she's gonna be like, wait, what the fuck? Yep. I know how to, I am very
Maybe I should
good.
start whispering in her ear, hey, so listen, your son's probably gonna do this. Don't react, okay?
Yeah, if you can coach her.
We're fine. Well, we'll see what happens.
Because you know how much of a fuckhead Taika is? I'm also a fuckhead, and it's in our DNA.
Oh, God, he's such a big fuckhead. But I love him so much.
Honestly, if my parents were together, me and my dad could probably bond by me roasting my mom and fucking with her and trolling her, because my dad's probably a fuckhead.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, you know what, y'all? Stay tuned for these updates. I'm going to try really hard to help Bart, heal baby Bart, and have his mom be more playful and stuff. So we'll keep you posted. We're going to keep you posted. For sure, we're going to keep you posted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our sponsor, Noom. Just remember, you guys, you don't have to change it all in one day. Small steps make big progress. Sign up for your trial today at Noom, noom.com/Bill. So what do you have to lose? Visit noom.com/Bill to start your trial today. That's noom.com/Bill. Thanks to our sponsor, Albert. Register for an account with Albert by visiting albert.com or searching for the Albert app in the Apple Store or Google Play Store. Last but not least, our sponsor, Ancestry. Find out what your DNA says about genetic risk with Ancestry Health. Head to our URL at ancestry.com/Bill to get your Ancestry Health kit today. That's ancestry.com/Bill.
And don't forget to go check out barbellbrigade.com for all of your fitness needs. We have everything from apparel to lifting gear to backpacks to supplements to everything you need to dominate humbly in your life. Go check that out, barbellbrigade.com.